Hi, my name is Mark. I've made this video to demonstrate the use of the thickness and attachment on the myford pr11 overhand planer. That was produced by Myford in the 60s and early 70s. It's a 5-inch overhand planer with optional extension arms which lengthen the in-feed and out-feed tables. It's got a 3-knife cutter block. I see several of these come up for sale on eBay, so I'm assuming they sold in quite large numbers. I often read on internet forums that it's an unsafe machine and not very accurate, but I disagree with that wholeheartedly, having used this all my working life, about the last 30 years. If it's set up correctly, I find it very accurate, extremely accurate actually. It's all cast iron construction. So that's basically the set up for overhand jointing or overhand planing. I'll now show you the additional parts needed for thicknessing. Okay, the attachments for thicknessing consist of this top fence, which is a nice sturdy cast iron construction, which actually clamps on the in-feed table, and also, and most importantly, this, which is a piece of spring steel. Okay, you really can't use it as a thicknesser without this. A lot of the ones I've seen on eBay show that in the picture, but not this. And I feel that these probably become detached from the machine, as they've got no name on. I mean, the fence obviously has got Myford in the casting, but this hasn't. But this is very, very important to use it as a thicknesser. You cannot use it as a thicknesser without that, unless you want to break your wrist. Okay, I'll now show the setting up of the planer. What you have to do, you take your guard off, and then lower the in-feed table as low as it will go. Okay, that's the in-feed table wound down as low as it will go, so put a straight edge or something across the bearing housing. Should be a ½ inch, that will rebate to a ½ inch deep. Okay, next you attach the top thickness and fence to the in-feed table. That clamps on the in-feed table like so, just a clamp underneath. Okay, thickness and fence set in position. Now, as you can probably appreciate, if you try to put a piece of wood through there now, it's going to come back this way with a hell of a bang when it hits that cutter block, and that's the reason why you need this piece of spring steel. Okay, that's clamped on. The purpose of the piece of spring steel strip, as you can probably imagine, is to push the wood up against the top fence, so you only take the thickness of cut that you want and not a ½ inch bit, what, like I said, break your wrist. I will just add at this point, it's also very important to ensure that the height of the outfeed table is set correctly in relation to the cutter block. If the table is too high, the piece of wood, as you thickness it, will jam between this and that, and you'll have an awful job trying to get it through. So the cutter block needs to be set correctly in relation to the outfeed table. Now, I've seen several good videos showing how to set that on YouTube if anyone is a bit unsure. Okay, that's set up now, ready for use. Got my piece of timber here that I'm going to thickness, which I already planed earlier on the overhand planer. So I've got a face side and a face edge. Okay, I normally set the top fence with my piece of wood to get the top fence in the right place with that. Then it's basically just a case of starting it up, which I'll do shortly, running your piece of wood through and lowering the top fence in sort of smallish increments. Don't try and take too much off in one hit, until you've thicknessed the piece of wood to the thickness you want, basically. As I said earlier, it's important to get it set right because it hasn't got any anti-kickback. And obviously if the piece of wood touches the cutter block and it tries to take 3/8 or a ½ inch, it's going to kick back, and it's going to kick back hard. And I know they did outlaw these machines in the mid-70s for professional workshops because of that reason. But like I say, set correctly, it's a joy to use. My father purchased it 40 years ago, and I've used it for the last 30 years on quite a regular basis, and I mean that's good testament to the quality of the machine. Okay, I'll now show you it in action. That's basically it. A roller stand set back here the same height as the outfeed table goes a long way to help them to hold the piece of wood up against the top fence. Okay, thanks for watching. One last point I'll add, I do have a set of original instructions for this. And if anyone's interested, and I can get my email address to be displayed on the video, I will gladly scan a copy of them and email them to anyone if they're interested. Thanks for watching.